And welcome back to another week of Days of Our Sodas. Welcome, I'm Britton, I'm here with my dad, Todd Summers, longtime OU sports aficionado. How you doing today?
Doing great.
This evening, I should say.
Doing great. Hello, fans.
Well, I was going to start out this episode and say, well, you know, Dad, I guess some things just, don't change.
That's right.
You know?
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Thought OSU was going to come and, at least give us a game. It's like 2020 all over again. I'm like, oh, Lord, they might beat us. And then, oh, look at that. We're kicking their ass all over the field. Well, at least in the first quarter.
91-19. Not a bad record against your rival.
Poor Cowboys, I should say.
Yeah, poor Cowboys.
Yeah, no, yeah. So, OU, finally, bowl eligible.
Thank goodness.
Hallelujah, baby.
24 years in a row. Thank you.
Thanks, Brent Venables. You've done it.
It is not the John Blake era. We are bowl eligible. Happy to see that. Happy we get the extra 15 practices, and just happy we keep the streak going. So.
Yeah. I was kind of nervous there for a second.
Were you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Well, thoughts of the game, Britt?
I think it's the best. I think this game is the epitome of our season this year. Frustrating as hell and inconsistent.
Of course.
But you know what? We got the win, so you won't hear me complaining.
We did get the win, and like you said, very frustrating, inconsistent, but we got the win. So
still on the offensive side, but we'll get to it.
Yeah.
We'll get to it.
What'd you think about that first quarter?
Oh my gosh! I'm like, where was this team at?
I thought we were going to win the national championship.
Yeah, no, I thought. You're like, you look like we're going to win a national championship with this team, but you could say, well, it's OSU, but OSU isn't that terrible this year, and Spencer Sanders, he's like jinxed against us. He always plays crappy when he plays against us.
Yeah.
Threw 4 picks in a row.
Yeah.
But again, we'll get to that. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, it was a wild first quarter. We go down.
Not in a row.
Yeah, not in a row, but in the game. So, first quarter, we go down, score touchdown, we 3 them out. We get a turnover. We score again. We get another turnover. We don't score. We end up with 28 points in the first half, 299 yards in the first quarter. I'm thinking we're going to beat them 112 to nothing, or 9 or 12, something like that. It was crazy. We started out great.
Seemed we were finally getting in our groove.
Yes, defense, offense, everything was working. We even did a special team trick play on the kickoff return where Billy Bowman's got an arm. Maybe he should have been the quarterback against Texas.
I know. I was like, oh. I was kind of nervous there,
That was a great pass. So.
Yeah, that was a good pass.
Yeah, so great first quarter, lights flashing, fans really into it.
I would say pistols firing, but that's the other team.
Pistols weren't firing at all there in the first quarter. So, first quarter was great. What about the second half? How did you like that?
Then the game turned into who wanted to lose less.
I know. Yeah, second half was super boring offensively.
I was getting nervous there you can ask Dad, I was getting pretty nervous there for a bit.
Yeah. Every time we gave up the ball, he'd say, Dad, we got this? Yep, we've got it. Dad, we got this? Yep, we still have it. We still got this, Dad? Yep. I kept saying if we could get one more touchdown, there's no way they can catch us, but we just didn't have it in the second quarter. And
that offensive play calling was horrendous. I don't know I can't say that, Ralph. I don't know if it's the play calling or if it was just the execution. I have no idea, but I was not pleased. Let's put it that way.
It was the play calling. We went super conservative, started running the ball like crazy. They were daring us to pass it deep. We didn't do it. We weren't letting the clock roll down. If you're going to go conservative, then go conservative and run the clock down each snap. But we didn't do any of that. It was ridiculous. So
yeah, and OSU didn't do much better either. I mean, they got a touchdown, but then they got a field goal. But they were just kind of didn't take advantage of the opportunities, which was good for us because we still won the game.
Right.
But there were definitely moments where they could have.
Definitely could have.
It didn't go their way.
Right. Had a lot of recruits in town, so hopefully they liked the show. I heard that.
I hope they were pleased with the defense at least. Defense really stepped up, but
they
again,
sure did.
Getting ahead of myself.
They, I heard that the atmosphere in the stadium was outstanding. I know we've been to Thunder games before, and they have music playing in between timeouts and things like that. A lot of lights going off. Fire shooting out of the end zones when we score touchdowns. And they have the big light show that I guess everybody in the country is getting now. So must have been a Black Friday deal on those. Everybody in the country has them. So, but hopefully the recruits like that. I heard we got one definite commit, and hopefully we get some more out of the game. So
hope so.
Yeah.
We've been kind of stinky this year, so I'm hoping we can get some of those recruits. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, let's talk about the offense. Let's talk about first quarter Dylan Gabriel. How did he do first quarter?
Oh, my gosh. He was firing on all cylinders, and then he just kind of went... And then he just kind of croaked out there.
Went to sleep on us.
I was like, what are you doing, man?
He was zipping the ball around. Some great play calling in the first half with the fake.
Yeah, really aggressive. I like... Yeah, I will give Lebby this. He does sometimes learn from his, missteps. Like, after those first couple of games of starting it slow, he tried to start it quick, tried to get it going.
Oh, yeah.
So he can learn from his mistakes, but there are just, I don't know, just the play calling got really terrible in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just Gabriel couldn't do the plays or... The play calling was bad.
Yep.
You're the expert.
I'm saying play calling was bad. When you run the ball and they stuff us, and then we won't throw the ball down the field. We keep throwing these little small short passes. They had guys there since they were boxed in.
Only got one first down throughout the whole second half.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
This team will be to death me.
Yep.
But it's a win.
That was ridiculous.
And we're bowl eligible.
And then let's talk about Dylan Gabriel's second half. Just inept.
Oh, Lord. It's almost like he was a different quarterback. I don't know. He's probably going to give one of those press conferences where he's like, I didn't play. Started out good and did the whole song and dance where I could have played better and all that crap.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He's just been getting clobbered by the fan base. I hope we don't run him off because we have a habit of doing that.
He's read the coach speak end of game press conference speeches. So, yeah. But,
poor Eric Gray. He was killing it out there, though.
Yeah, Gray still continues to be his solid self. I think he had about 90 yards rushing. They boxed him up in the second half. And then Barnes was looking good, too. I think he had 59 yards. So
he has a future, I think.
Altogether, about 160, 175 yards rushing. Not a bad day. And then the wide receivers. What about your boy Stoops? Drake Stoops.
he pulled a Gavin Freeman first, and he just dove for it, and he got it. I was like, oh my God,
that
he got it.
Amazing.
That was
amazing.
Great.
How does he catch some of these balls? And then he gets him a nice touchdown, sort of a diving catch there as well. So Drake Stoops, offensive player of the game. Yeah, close.
And you were going to ask about Farouk?
Yeah, Farouk. I think he
did some good plays,
game.
And then he kind of. I don't know if all of it was his fault. There was some of those that Gabriel just Dude has a habit of overthrowing it, man. I've been saying it all season.
Yep.
Dude loves to overthrow the ball.
Yep. He's very accurate, and then all of a sudden he's like, who you throwing it to, kid? I don't know what's going on there.
Jeez.
So So all in all, I guess we did enough to win the game offensively. 28 points was hard to overcome there. 28-0.
I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd go that far, but yeah, we managed.
Historic first quarter. Most yards score in a first quarter against OSU in the Bedlam history. That's a big time. It's a good record to have.
A record that didn't go against us this
Exactly. And then 28 points in the first quarter. Another record Bedlam-wise. I think second all-time in OU football history. That's another, good. It's not a record, but good showing. And so when you're thinking about playing over 100 years of football, that says something. So we had a lot of great players come through here.
Yeah,
so.
no.
So offense, first quarter outstanding.
And the rest of it was just kind of snoozing.
Days of our Sooners worthy.
Yeah, no. Poor guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did their part. I guess.
Scored
I guess after first quarter, like, hey, we did our part.
Scored enough to win the game. So I guess we'll take it. So hopefully they don't lose their confidence going into the next game, but they'll probably come back. So defense.
Oh, they won this game.
Oh,
That's not even a question.
For sure. Four interceptions.
They play again. I'm telling you, I think Sanders is jinxed when he plays against us. 'Cause every time, he'll be like gangbusters. Like, it's this year. He's gonna be the guy, and then he plays against us. Except for last year, he actually played pretty. It was a pretty good game last year.
Yeah, he played good last year.
Maybe it's like being out in Stillwater. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah.
When he goes up against us, he just sucks.
4 interceptions, hard to overcome, and then we had one we almost ran back from for a touchdown. That was a lineman, Luau, running it back, and if it were me, I would have cut back in and dove for the end zone, but he ran out and bounced on the 4 and let Gray get the touchdown, so good for him, but that was a nice interception there. Defense.
Then Bowman picked it off. That
Bowman
was cool.
with the great interception. It looked like the guy was running wide open. He cuts across as the safety.
I thought he went out of bounds there for a second, and it turned out, nope, he didn't. And I'm like, oh.
He tiptoed down the line, made a great return, and so, really nice defensively. I think we had 5 sacks, 13 tackles for loss.
They said it was a OSU-dominated second half. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. They got a lot of yardage, but they didn't get any touchdowns.
That's true.
And we kept coming up with the big play when we needed it, and wow.
Defense, they stepped up.
Yeah, we didn't have any drive longer than a minute and 30 seconds in the second half, so that meant the defense was back on the field. Defense back on the field. No time to rest. Defense back on the field. So, wow. And it looked like maybe a light bulb went on finally. Everybody kind of knew where they were supposed to be. They were hitting the right gaps. They were covering in the right spots. So, well done, Venable's defense. Maybe he's got something going the right direction. Of course, that's what we said after Iowa State, too. So, we'll see.
Still growing pains, I guess.
We'll see if that translates into our next game. And then special teams. Obviously, we talked about the trick play. I wish we'd have scored a touchdown or on the kickoff return, or even scored a touchdown after we ran it back so far. We always talk about momentum here on Days of Our Sooners.
Yeah.
We had a lot of momentum there, and then
And they pissed the drive away.
It was
just like, bruh. I hate when that happens. We get a great play, and then they just don't do anything with it. I'm just like, oh.
And then star of the game, your man Turk.
Yeah, no, he's, also known as Hang Time on YouTube.
Yeah, Hang Time Turk. He was a punting genius. I think he averaged 49, 11 punts. Man, his leg must have been sore after that deal.
He beat the crap out of that ball.
Yeah, he did. And then that 60-something yard punt, and then has a 9-iron spin on it. Hits the goal line and bounces back like he hit a nice golf shot. Looked like Tiger Woods hitting one of those. So well done, Mr. Turk. And I don't know if you saw this, but he proposed to one of my favorite softball players, Miss Grace Lyons, the best shortstop I've ever seen. She's better than I was back in slow pitch softball. So,
I remember.
Apparently, she said yes. So, fantastic.
I saw some stuff where they were hanging out with a kid with Down syndrome, but I don't know if that. I don't know what that was.
I think that they just do nice things like that as the football team.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're like, this is what happened after Bedlam, but I don't know if that happened after Bedlam. Maybe it did. I don't know.
I was wondering if Turk was putting with that ring in his pocket the whole time, but apparently he had left it in the locker room.
I bet he did.
Sprinted in to get it.
They would have got the camera like, oh, what's this? Oh, looks like a ring. Yeah.
And if he'd had a lousy day punting that day, he'd have to always remember, I proposed, and I had a really crappy game. So, so well done, Mr. Hang Time.
I think he's one of the best players on our team.
I hate to say it, but yeah, he is. I mean, obviously, I think Gray has got to be our MVP this year. Mm-hmm. If you look at consistency throughout the year, and he's got over 1,200 yards rushing, he's just been an ultimate success story this year. So he's been great all year, and the one guy that we've been able to count on all year.
Yeah.
And our boy, the tight end. Why am I forgetting his name right now?
Braden Willis?
Braden Willis fumbles the ball.
Oh, my Lord.
That could have put it away right there.
Luckily, we managed to put a stop to that nonsense before it did anything.
That cost us the touchdown that I thought would have put us out of reach. But anyway, all in all, great game, great complimentary football. All three phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, had their shining moments. The offense kind of let us down there.
Yeah.
For 3 quarters, but we did enough to win the game. So, now next week, we've got a game against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. You know anything about them?
I know Mike Leach coached for them.
Yeah.
And Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Though I'm not a big basketball guy.
Yeah.
I
don't know much about their football team this year. One thing I do know is they've played very well at home. They defeated a team that we hate, the Texas Longhorns.
Oh, yeah. I was making fun of Sark big time over that because, what do you know, he choked the game away.
Yeah, and I think they played TCU tough. So they have a capability of definitely beating us in that final game. So I'm definitely glad we are bowl eligible.
We shall see. You never know. Hopefully this win will give us some good momentum going into the...
I'm hoping so.
But Texas Tech is not one... They played tough against OSU too, and
right.
I don't know if it's just OSU was sucking against us or if we were just playing well or maybe both.
Well, we started out, we were just playing well. Their offense moved the ball quite a bit on us there in the second half, but couldn't punch it in, couldn't quite get it figured out. I think that Venables defense had a lot to do with it. Linemen were dropping out into coverage, all kinds of blitz packages. So I think Venables...
I really like how they're smothering the quarterback. You know, really putting the... I mean, even in the games where we lose, or, well, that wasn't 49-0, we're pretty good at trying to smother the quarterback and, get him rattled,
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think they're finally figuring out their fits and where they can rush and get to the quarterback to at least put pressure on him. I think I saw a stat where they ran 102 plays, which is incredibly high. And Spencer Sanders was running or throwing the ball on 84 of those plays. So we really contained him. He's a great quarterback and can beat you with his legs or with his arm. And I think he only had 40-something yards rushing, and then I think he had over 300 yards passing. But we really contained them and didn't let him score touchdowns, and that's the name of the game.
Yeah, no. Like I said, he tends to suck when he plays us.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Like, I remember 2020, we were bullying him on the field. Mm-hmm. And then this time, it was like, he was just like, I loved his facial reactions. He was just like, This sucks.
I've heard he's a very emotional player, so when he gets down, he really gets down on himself. Might get a little too emotional, so might have been some excitement, anxiety, nerves. I don't know what was up with him, but we handled him, so that's all I care about.
We're playing Tech. Don't know how that's going to go, but hopefully this win will give us some momentum. We'll see.
Nighttime game in Texas Tech, in Lubbock, Texas. You ever heard of Lubbock, Texas?
I only know it because Texas Tech is there.
Right. And they like to throw tortillas. The fans like to throw them like frisbees at the opposing players and fans. So
I also know Mahomes was a Texas Tech guy.
He's got to be their greatest player of all time.
I was about to say, I bet they're very proud of him.
Wes Welker was there.
Oh, yeah.
Oklahoma boy that we should have recruited.
I'm like, why didn't we nab him?
I guess he was too short.
My mom used to work with him.
With his mom.
With his mom. Sorry, his mom, I meant to say.
So it should be a good game. I'm expecting another shootout, nail biter, heart attack, all of those things. So it'd be nice for us to get out to a nice start again and kind of put our foot on their throat and win the game. That's the main thing. So, all right. So this week in NCAA football,
it was a bit more unpredictable than I thought it would be.
Yeah, no, I thought. Before
I thought it was going to be kind of boring.
Right, that's what I told you. I said there's no good games. The SEC's playing all their nobody teams that they like to do at the end of the year when the rest of us are playing the nobody teams early on in the season. But there turned out to be some great games this weekend.
Yeah. Yes, there was.
Let's talk about that TCU Baylor game.
Oh, my gosh. I thought Baylor was going to get him.
They led the whole game.
I know. And
they were up the whole game.
And then Garrett Riley pulled his Houdini stuff, and they won. And TCU won. You're like, TCU won. I was like, dang it!
Yeah. Rushed the kicking team on their field goal team.
That was some great time management right there. That was some impressive. It's up there with Sark when he was against Texas Tech. 12 seconds, they managed to score it.
Yep, they said the coach said that he practices that little rushing onto the field every Thursday, and it paid off this week. So I guess the players understand why.
And then everyone was like, "Why did you run it on third down?" And then he's like, "Well, they ran him on there and did it." So who's laughing now?
29-28, and then a game that I thought was going to be an absolute blowout: Michigan versus Illinois. Illinois leads that game the whole time.
Until the end.
Until the very end, and then Michigan pulls it out with a 19-17 victory. I think that was another field goal.
Yeah, no, I was like, what?
And here's one I wasn't expecting at all. South Carolina versus Tennessee. Tennessee's obviously going to roll them up, right?
No.
What happened with our guy, Spencer Rattler finally woke up?
I guess so.
6 touchdown passes.
He took Tennessee to town.
Yeah. He might as well go ahead and set out the rest of the year and let that be the last film on him so he can turn pro finally. So he was supposed to turn pro last year and had a bad season with us. And then he's had a horrible season this year, but 6 touchdown passes. He looked like an NFL quarterback in that game. 63-38.
What can I say?
They rat-a-tat-tat that backside.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, boy.
Football is a fickle game.
Now, one thing I didn't like is Rattler on the sidelines, counting it out for the camera. 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. Get to the sidelines.
I remember you and Mike were complaining about
Quit showboating.
You're like, Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
That was a classy athlete. Right. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, that's not class. That's showing why you're not any better than you are right now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But anyway, nice game by Rattler. I'll give him his credit. And then Georgia, Kentucky.
That was a
total SEC football, 16-6. That was a snoozer. Yeah. And here's one I wasn't expecting. Our Arkansas Razorbacks, which our granny loves and we follow. Our
smacked
our cousin
Ole Miss
niece was pom-pom there, so we've been to a few games there. Yeah, they smacked down Lane Kiffin and his bunch of running rebels.
I guess they were mad after their last couple of losses. So.
Lose to Liberty, hard-fought game against LSU, and come out and put a beat down on Ole Miss. So well done there. And then lastly, a rivalry game a week too early, kind of like our game, SC versus UCLA.
Our old pal, Lincoln Riley.
UCLA jumped up 14-0 on them. I thought, yeah, here we go.
It's going to make my night.
Take them to town, yeah. But SC, came back. And
it's like I say, Lincoln got bailed out of talent, bailed out by talent once again. Gotta love it.
Grinch had his typical performance, giving up 45 points to an inferior team, but they end up winning 48-45. I see that they're number 6 in the football playoff. I hope they get into the football playoff and just get run out of town. It'll show exactly why Oklahoma fans were not that sad to see Lincoln Riley leave. He can't win the big one against the big boys with that crappy defense.
That's all. I'm like, I don't think he's going to win a natty.
Uh-huh.
I don't think he's going to. He could prove me wrong. He could. But I highly doubt it.
Mm-mm.
Just from. He dicked around with us for 5 years. And never won a natty. Got close.
Mm-hmm.
But, he pulled a Lincoln. And I don't think it's going to change with USC. So get ready for mediocrity, USC.
That 2018-2019 when we had Baker Mayfield and that high-powered offense had Georgia beat and gave up the ghost there in the second half against them. So
that sucked.
Yeah, I think that SC is falling into that same trap that we fell into. So
we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Next week, go ahead.
I saw some of the USC fans were like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna bring us back to the promised land." There's even people comparing him to Pete Carroll. I had me a good hearty laugh at that.
Yeah,
I don't know about
Pete
you.
Carroll. He's no Pete Carroll.
Like Pete Carroll, like that was Nick Saban back in the day. He was the guy you're like, oh mo, I don't want to go up against him.
I like that intro to the USC game when he came in with the sunglasses on out in the California sunshine. He looked all California soft out there, so I think he's fitting in just fine out there. That snowflake city out there, so he wasn't going to last in the SEC. And I think if he gets in the playoffs, he's going to get shown the door.
Out.
He gets shown the door quickly, so...
Oh.
Now, next week is rivalry week, which is always a fun week. It is the end of football, which that stinks. And I guess we got Army-Navy to look forward to here in a couple weeks. That's always a riveting game.
Oh, yeah.
You see all the armed forces out there. Yeah. But how does Texas Tech fall on rivalry weekend? We can't wait. I think the Big 12 is punishing us for going to the SEC.
They get mixed up or something? Yeah. The schedule get mixed up?
Who knows? I hope we have a great game against the Red Raiders and come out with a victory there like we've mentioned. And then next is Baylor versus Texas. Is that a rivalry game?
I get. Well, they're both from Texas, so I guess so.
Used to be Texas A&M. That's how the breakup of these conferences has really hurt this rivalry week. We do have Kansas versus Kansas State, so I guess
that should be something.
Yeah, that should be something, and
hopefully more of a competition.
Yeah, I think Kansas is kind of falling back into their old self now. They took a little.
They got spanked by Tech. I'm like, Kansas. I thought you were supposed to be good now. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think Texas took out a little anger against them for beating them at home last year.
That's what I said.
I think they beat them a couple times in the last 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, Texas took it to them there. But Kansas State. So, I wouldn't call this rivalry week in the Big 12. But
they're mad that they lost to Kansas and we didn't.
Yeah. Now, here's some rivalry week.
Okay.
Games for us. Michigan, Ohio State. You ever heard of that one?
Oh, that should be a banger. Or it's going to be really bad.
The Wolverines versus the Buckeyes.
It's always the game of the year.
I wonder if that's in the Big House. I think it is in the Big House. I'm not sure.
I think Gus might do that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Is that the early game? I guess.
Yeah, I think early one. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of a shame, but anyway, that'll be a big one. That both let's see Ohio State's number 2. Michigan number 3, so one of them's going to lose. We'll see how that turns out.
Ties like in the NFL.
Yeah, back in the olden days before you were born. Bo Schembechler, old Michigan coach. You ever heard of that guy?
I've heard that name.
Bo Schembechler.
I've heard that name.
He was the big Michigan coach for 20, 30 years. And then a guy that I know, he was the Barry of Michigan. And then I know you've heard about this guy, Woody Hayes.
Oh, yes, I have heard of this man.
Well, we don't have the coaching matchup that we had back in the olden days, but
a real fiery presence from what I've heard.
Harbaugh's the coach for Michigan. I couldn't even tell you who the Ohio State coach is. I know
the Urban Meyer lackey guy, probably.
Yeah, and then we've got another rivalry game that that has stood the test of time. USC versus Notre Dame. What do you think's going to happen there? Notre Dame's kind of
strumming up. They're kind of been struggling a bit, but it seemed to be finding their groove. They might actually give USC a game.
Yeah, they're pretty good defensively, so let's see if they have enough offense to keep up with Lincoln Riley's high-powered offense. But looking forward to that one.
He gets Nom flashbacks to Lincoln plays against ND, and he remembers that Brian Kelly ditched them the same way he did to us, and he just gets flashbacks. He's like, "Oh no, we're gonna lose."
That game's on at the exact same time as our game, so that's a good omen because we won at the same time that USC won last week. And then here, another big rivalry game. The teams aren't as good as they used to be, but always a fun matchup. The Florida Gators versus the Florida State Seminoles.
Ooh. Either that'll be good or meh.
Yeah.
Because both of those teams, Florida is a shadow of who they used to be. They were like Alabama there for a while, and then they just kind of were like, eh. There's also the fact that Urban Meyer kind of screwed them over.
Yeah.
But,
And Florida State, too. They've been a powerhouse for many years, and they're a little bit down now.
After Jimbo left, they kind of... I heard Jimbo's gotten into some more trouble recently.
What did he do? Did you hear about what happened?
Or the team got in there was a fight or something. I forgot exactly what it was, but the whole A&M season's been filled with drama from what I've heard.
Well, they finally won a game and beat UMass.
Wow.
You've heard of them?
Didn't they beat... Oh, no, that was Marshall. I'm like, didn't they beat Notre Dame? I'm like, no, that was Marshall who did that.
UMass, so that was a big 20-3 victory, so I'm glad Jimbo got on the winning side of things.
How did they go from beating Alabama last year to nearly beating Alabama, and then they just kind of crapped out?
I don't know. I hope the transfer portal opens up and the flood comes out of there, as it should.
Football is fickle. That's all I can say about that.
He's got an $80 million buyout, so... If he gets fired, they're going to have to pay him $80 million. I guess he could take the summer off and become a lifeguard or something. He's got enough money to do whatever he wants to. Then we've got an old matchup called the Iron Bowl.
Oh, yay. Nick Saban goes up against the eternally inconsistent Auburn Tigers.
Yeah. That's one of the most hated rivalries I've ever seen. Those
hated?
I'm talking about the two teams hating each other. You think we call ours Bedlam, so that seems to be quite the rivalry there, but this is the type of rivalry where they hate each other so bad. I think Auburn has
I've seen documentaries about how much they hate each other.
Auburn's got a tree in their little campus corner that they have, and they all go and TP the tree after big wins. Well, one year, some crazed Alabama fan, he went in and hammered in copper stakes into the side of their little tree to try to kill it.
Oh no, not the tree.
I think he may have killed the thing.
Oh no.
They put that guy in jail for that.
Oh jeez.
I don't know if they gave him a life sentence for murdering a tree, but
jeez.
I think there was a 30-30 about him or some kind of documentary about him. But if that comes on again, we got to watch that. You got to get in on that history.
Oh man, but yeah, Auburn, Alabama, that's always a fun one because it's always fun when Alabama loses, so we can laugh at them for a week.
I don't think Auburn's got it this year.
No, I don't think so. I've never heard anything about Auburn this.
Yeah, they're stinking this year. I think they might have fired their coach. Yeah, they did fire their coach, so they're looking for a new coach. So I don't think they've got it this year. But always, there's
been some unforgettable games though with them, like when they did that when Saban decided it'd be a good idea to kick it from 56 yards, and then the dude ran it all the way back.
Yeah,
I think Cam played that game.
I was watching that game. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I think we went to the laser tag that day and came back and watched the end of that.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that
used to be one of your favorites, laser tags. So.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was fun times.
And then some other rivalry games. Georgia Tech, yawner.
Georgia's probably going to just smack them.
Georgia
Think
Tech.
of the children, Georgia.
Yeah.
That's what I like to
Hopefully
say.
they are thinking of the children of Georgia and they don't do too much to them. Then you got your Oregon State. Who cares?
Should be something.
And then Washington State. So
That should be, whatever.
I don't know why we're not on this weekend. I think the Big 12 is really punishing us. So, but it'll be fun to watch, and I always enjoy rivalry week. Other than I hate that it's the end of football.
Yeah.
College wise,
It's gonna be the end of Days of Our Sooners soon enough.
So,
but we're bowl eligible, so
yeah, we'll have another one after the bowl game, and
Yep.
then we'll kind of talk about next season maybe.
Yep.
Maybe we can
NFL.
Yeah, NFL game. So
You want to talk about those Cowboys?
Let's talk. Well, the Cowboys. Wow,
They're really mad after Green
I thought
Bay.
Minnesota was supposed to be the best team in the NFL
Like
after
the
they
sleeper team.
defeated the Bills, but I guess the Cowboys brought them back to earth with a thud.
Yeah, I was just like, oh Lord, we're gonna die against Minnesota. I go to see Black Panther, Wakanda Forever with Dad. Come back, it's like 40-3. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it was a beatdown.
They were really mad after Green Bay, I'm guessing.
Yeah. For this week's games, what do you like about Thanksgiving? Let's talk about that. So, Thanksgiving, your favorite holiday?
No, I don't like things.
Love turkey,
Not really.
mashed
But-
potatoes,
I do like that. I do like mashed potatoes.
rolls.
I do like rolls.
Yeah, yeah. It's your worst. It's your worst holiday.
Yeah,
You hate-
I generally don't like Thanksgiving, but I do like football on Thanksgiving, though. That's always fun.
So we got 3 games. A lot of times these are yawners. These don't look too riveting.
Or protracted agony if you're in Detroit.
Well, speaking of Detroit, they've got the Bills this weekend. What do you think's
Oh,
going to
God.
happen there?
Well, Bill's been kind of recently, which they can bounce back. They're a great football team,
Yeah.
but
I think the
Detroit,
quarterback's hurt a little bit. So
I pray for you. That's all I'll say about that.
they've been playing rough and tumble this year. The Lions have, but they're not winning games still. And then we've got a pretty good rivalry game here: New York Football Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, an old school rivalry.
Yeah, so that should be fun.
Should be fun because Giants aren't terrible this year.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I think there's everybody in that NFC East has a winning record, including the Redskins.
Wow,
Commanders.
Oh yeah, the commies. Yeah,
Or the football team.
yeah, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, so that should be a pretty fun game. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm wondering if the Cowboys, as the
Most inconsistent good team in the NFL.
as the Vikings did after their big win the week before, I'm wondering if they're going to have a letdown this week.
Oh,
If
jeez.
they're going to stay up, or they're going to kind of, oh yeah, we're great. We beat the mighty Vikings, and
You beat the purple people eaters.
I'm wondering if they're going to be able to maintain that momentum. And then we've got the Patriots. That sounds good on paper. Patriots versus the Vikings. So might be a good game. It's the night game. So
I don't know. Patriots are kind of a shadow of who they used to be because when you lose someone like Brady, kind of gonna go down a little bit after that. But hey, they're hanging on. I guess.
I'm going to wonder if I'm going to be sleeping after all that turkey and dressing and mashed potatoes and gravy and corn, rolls. I might be sleeping by that time. Who knows? We'll see. So those are the 3 Thursday games. And then a couple of games, or at least one game that I'm kind of intrigued in is the Bengals, who are starting to come on now. Joe Burrow and company.
P. Ryan had a good game apparently last
I think
week.
Mixon got hurt, little concussion protocol.
Uh-oh.
Mixon comes in, one of my favorite players all time.
Oh, yeah, I love P. Ryan.
NCAA rushing record, 400 yards against Kansas. I watched it all the way to the end, loved it. We should have ran up 500 yards. The week after, somebody else had, I think it might have been Melvin Gordon, had broken the record. The year before. Maybe it wasn't Melvin Gordon. Maybe I'm getting mixed up there. But anyway, P. Ryan's got that record. Hope that lasts forever. Against one of your favorite players, King Henry with the Titans.
Derrick Henry. Love that guy.
He's tough
even
to
though
break
he's
down.
he's from that wretched hive known as Alabama.
Yeah.
He's a great football player. One of my favorites.
Got to be one of the better running backs
Him
of all
and Mike
time.
Evans.
He's just so big and fast. I mean, he's just a load to bring down.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and he stiff arms people like there's no tomorrow.
Oh yeah. He's
disrespectful.
he's won me a couple fantasy games this year in my little DraftKings. So.
Oh jeez. Panthers, are they playing anybody? Or?
Yeah, I don't know who they're playing. It's hard to root for them.
They suck.
Yeah, they're horrible. I think they actually won last week. I can't remember who they played, but just I hope Baker finds a new home and somewhere where he can light it back up. And then I guess so. K. Murray, QB1, has been out the last couple weeks with a hamstring pull, so hopefully he'll return and get back so the Cardinals can be interesting to us again.
Yeah, Colt McCoy is there.
Oh, that's a strange bedfellows as backup quarterback. Yes. Kyler Murray with Colt McCoy as the backup. That's
the
seems
scourge
sacrilegious.
The scourge of OU from my childhood.
Yeah, I guess he's still playing.
I was surprised. I'm like, damn, is he like 40 now?
Yeah, he outlasted our boy Sam Bradford. So
yeah, poor guy. Injury bug got him.
And then Big Game had a little bit of a struggle versus the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colts suck. I guess they kind of were let down after they lost to the Redskins, and then they kind of were. They came back though, but still.
Yeah. So
what are you doing?
We'll see if Big Game can keep it rolling. I think they're finally falling back to earth themselves. So we'll see if he can find the magic again.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd get a Bengals Cinderella story.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. So any final thoughts about the OU game, season?
Well, we're not at the end of the season yet.
Yeah.
Might have to wait till Texas. Might have to wait till next week to really get into the season so far. But
now, bowl possibilities. I hear we have an opportunity to possibly go to the Liberty Bowl. That's in Memphis, so we will not be going to that game personally. I'm sure you were heartbroken about that.
No, I've only been to Memphis like once.
Yeah.
It was at the airport.
Right. So we will
it's a bit
not
of an underwhelming experience.
Won't be traveling there, but we do get to match up against the SEC team, and I'm kind of thinking it through. I'm wondering if they won't match us up against the Kentucky Wildcats, coached by Mark Stoops.
Oh, that could be fun.
Mark it down here. I'm calling Kentucky versus OU.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of rumors, either Arkansas or...
yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
Arkansas or Arizona, which I don't know.
Surely Tennessee wouldn't fall in.
Oh, God, no.
They're that spot.
They're like 9-2? Nah,
yeah.
They'll get in a good bowl.
Right.
If they don't, they have to completely shit the bed if they're they're gonna have to completely get screwed if.
I'm calling OU versus Kentucky. That's my prediction right now. I think the Liberty Bowl is gonna say Stoops versus old Stoops, and so. Put Bob in a bind. Does he root for his brother or does he root for his old OU team? What do you think he'll root for?
They're gonna milk the marketing.
Yeah, they're gonna milk the marketing. You think he's gonna root for OU or for his brother? Blood is thicker than water, they say.
We'll see.
We'll see about that. He's got his son on the OU team, so blood. So I think his son's gonna outweigh his brother, so I think Bob will be rooting for the Sooners in that game. So
we'll see.
We'll see how it plays out.
No.
So I saw this week on the bowl ratings, Georgia #1.
Yeah.
Ohio State 2.
I mean, Georgia sometimes gets careless. Hence their game with Missouri where they were struggling.
Right, and Kent State. They didn't play good against them.
And even Kentucky.
They didn't play great against them.
Kind of crappy.
But it seems like when they play against one of the big teams,
they ain't playing around.
Yeah, they get fired up and they put
wish
the
we
whoop
could do
ass
that.
on them. So
I wish we could do that.
Well, it's early.
Yeah, that's true. We still have time. But when I see that, I'm like, dang it! I wish we could do that.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna be
Even
back.
when we had Lincoln, I'm like, dang it! I wish we could do something like that.
A couple of years from now, I think we're going to be really excited.
So I'm pulling
long,
for it, man.
And then Ohio State #2, Michigan #3. As I said before, they'll be playing each other.
that should either be a great game or it's going to be something. I don't know.
The Horned Frogs still alive at
I'm surprised.
11-0.
I'm surprised. Maybe it was just Patterson was getting old and didn't know what the hell he was doing anymore or something because they were sucking last year.
Yeah, it's got to be the greatest season in TCU history. Got to be.
Or, maybe it's just, well, I don't know. Maybe it's just, it's just like one of those like John Blake eras. The Patterson was kind of dicking around, and Dykes came in as like, okay, let's put you guys right here, and then getting it going.
Yeah, well, everything's kind of fallen their way. I don't think they've had too many injuries other than their quarterback getting hurt the very first week.
They also play suspiciously dirty against people. Or
they do. They've knocked out several quarterbacks.
They do get some very ambiguous plays. Ethically ambiguous plays.
So I could see them. They're going to play K-State in the Big 12 championship.
Oh Lord, it's the reign of the purple people eaters.
And then number 5, LSU, a 9-2 team, and they're getting too much love. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I think if they have to play Georgia in the SEC championship,
I think they'll get stomped.
Yeah, I think they'll get mud slap, something slapped. And then obviously the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee, they're going to have to play Purdue. That's going to be
playing Purdue next week.
Well, no, in the championship game, I think the Purdue is leading the other division in the Big Ten. But we do have USC.
I think
there, haunting right behind.
I think Tennessee would at least get in like the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, they could. They could get in the Sugar Bowl. You're probably right. Tennessee will probably wind up in the Sugar Bowl
or something like that. I don't know.
Georgia could be Bama in the Sugar Bowl, but Tennessee hasn't been in a long time, and they beat Alabama. I think you're right. So
he could do it. I was just a guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But could be some good bowl matchups. I'm wondering how many Alabama seniors will actually play in their bowl game. Are they going to all opt out for the NFL?
Just sorry, man. You'll have to depend a lot on your black magic now.
If they don't get in the championship series, then they kind of cash it in.
They cash their checks and they go home.
Exactly right. So yeah, it should be an interesting final few weeks of the season here.
You think Lincoln's going to get in the not the finals, the USC is going to get into the
football championship series?
Yes.
They have a shot. I think Notre Dame might beat them this weekend. If that happens, they're definitely not getting in. And then they've got to go play either Oregon or Utah again. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say they're going to cough it up. I'm going to say Lincoln Riley doesn't make it this year. But behind that, I don't know who. I think maybe Clemson might slip back in it. I don't know. Tennessee was number 10, so they're kind of out of it with 2 losses. I think LSU would have to play Georgia in the SEC championship. I think Georgia will stomp them. They're going to be out of it.
Wait, so Alabama's not in it this year?
I mean, they're ranked number 7 or something, but they've got 2 losses. Of course, they were real close losses, so they could sneak their way back in. You never know. I think Saban's married to the sister of the football committee chairman or something. I don't know. They seem to always find a way back.
Guy's still a terrible actor, though.
Oh my God.
We see those Affleck commercials and we're just like, oh.
Yeah, he's cringeworthy on the Affleck, and he's dragging Dion down. Dion's
like trying, and poor guy.
I think the Affleck duck is better than Saban. So yeah, it's pitiful.
It's not like Fansville where I can watch a show of that.
Yeah, no, that's good. They should make a mini-series out of Fansville. Those characters are fantastic. Whoever designed that.
That guy should get a raise.
Yeah, that ad series, man, he's fantastic. He or she is fantastic. So,
Did you just fansplain me?
Oh, that's a beauty. It's out of bounds. I know what it is. Yeah.
Poor guy. He got knocked out. Let's see. He got knocked out, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm back." And now he's
and I like Nick or
Brian Bosworth as the sheriff.
Yeah, Bosworth is the sheriff, and I like the commercial where the quarterback for Alabama is the stepson.
Yeah,
that's another good one.
That's
And the kid, the lacrosse player, you can't catch
poor
anything.
Guy.
Yeah,
he's like, I had stuff in my hand.
They've got great storylines. So.
Yeah, man, that's make it happen, man. Yeah. But then again, hopefully that it doesn't ruin the magic if they did make a show out of it.
Yeah, they better stick with the commercial.
Yeah,
they probably use up all their ideas all in one fell swoop. So, any other comments about football this week before we end it?
Not really.
All right.
I'm just embracing the chaos at this point.
Me too. I'm hoping we get a victory, go Sooner. So let's end it this way. Boomer!
Sooner! All right. So this has been yet another day, another week of Days of Awesomeness. What are we going to say before we leave?
Goodbye, fans.
All right. Take care, everyone.
He was a junior college transfer from the College of the Canyons. That's where he came from.